Alright. Hello everyone. Let me take my earphones off so I can actually hear myself speak. So, printer is running like crazy right now. We're trying like this massive new print. It's on day 2 of printing. So, sorry if you're hearing any random noises. That's pretty much what's going on in the background, and we thought it was going to be done by now, but that's not the case. Anyways, if you were here last week, you saw me creating the base for this lovely dude, and what I'm going to be doing today is painting him up. So, well, not him, but the base. And the base itself was made using just some insulation foam, the boards that you can find at homes. Let's combine them together. At Lowe's and Home Depot. I was just, cutting up little bits and adding some details and texture, and then just gluing it on to basically a chipboard base. And then I also created these fun little electric flares that I'm going to put around. And these guys are going to go on last. Simply because they're going to be a pain in the butt to work around if I try and paint around them. So these I'm going to put on at the very end, but basically I'm going to work on getting this guy painted up and ready, and I'm hoping by the end of this fun little session that will be done. Hello, how are you today, Syrinx? Is that how you would say it? Thank you for joining. Always good to have people coming in. Now I know I shared a rock with you guys last week, and this is basically the one I'm going to be working off of. Just for color scheme and everything like that, so you can kind of see. I'm the one who likes to use points of reference. So because of that, I have my paint colors all picked out. And by the way, if audio is funky, let me know and I can adjust things a little bit, like if the music's too loud or that type of thing. So basically, I'm just going to be going for some acrylics. Good old-fashioned acrylics here, and this is what I'm going to be working with. So I'm going to first start out doing, oops, let's get this glare out of the way, Golden Sunset from Apple Barrel. And then I'm going to jump into Sun-Kissed Peach. This is also the new layout with the workspace, which I'll show you at the end. This doesn't want to play nice. And then we're going to do, I always go to this guy. This one's Coffee Latte from Folk Art. And the other one for Folk Art is Parchment. So these are the colors I'm going to work with. Actually, no, I'm going to start with Coffee Latte. Take it back. So I'm going to start with Coffee Latte. And then if you've watched some other videos, oh good, I'm glad you're well, Syrinx. So I'm going to use the little cosmetic sponge technique in most of the areas. For those tighter areas, I will be using one of my brushes, probably more of my smaller, narrower ones, just to be helpful in getting in places I don't want the paint to get onto the dragon. So, oh good, audio is good. Yeah, I did a little test run beforehand, but you never know, because sometimes when you send it through YouTube, YouTube likes to have fun with you. So thank you for the feedback. I do appreciate it. Alright, so basically how these cosmetic sponges work is when you initially get them, they come very flat, and if you go to sponge them, you just get a whole bunch of rectangles. However, what I do is I just take a fingernail and I will peel off the bottom, and then that gives you a rougher surface, which if I can get it to show up here, there you go. It gives it a rougher surface. So that it has more of a sponge-like technique to it. I like these because it doesn't absorb the paint up as much as a natural sponge would do or a kitchen sponge would do, and it also has smaller, finer details from ripping the foam. Sometimes I find that the whole kitchen sponges leave too big of marks on smaller things like the minis. Hey Jeremy, my day is going busily. It's very busy today. It's been a weird day. I had to go out and run some errands, and then got home and I got a lovely little, sorry, I'm looking for something, and I got a lovely little message from Jake, who I will be playing a game tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. on his channel Mini Train Domain, Sunless Citadal. Come and see us play. It's lots of fun. But he gave me a little message, and looks like I might be doing another game with him and some other players too, but this is a long-term campaign, and it's going to be Waterdeep Dragon Heist. To say I'm excited is understatement of the world, because this is one of those things I've had my... Hey! Jake is here right now. Jake, I'm telling him about the game that's going to be happening starting October 1st. And basically, when I'm done here, I get to create a new character. And you all know how I am about characters. I love creating them. So, yeah, I'm debating what I want to be. So we'll see. It should be fun. But yeah, that's a fun little bit of news that I got like right before the stream was about to start. And I told him, like, I have to set up my equipment and get things going, but I will definitely be looking forward to things later on this evening, because I guess we're doing our little session 0 private, everyone gets together and meets type of thing, right? Right, Jake? Yes. Yes, I think I'm recalling that correctly. Alright, so let me see here. I did have Oh, I think it got moved. All right, I'm just gonna use my palette over here. So I'm just gonna put my palette, it's gonna be out of screen, but I'd rather you see what I am doing. And of course, shake your paints, it's always good. And I'm excited to get this guy done because he's really cool looking. I have a whole shelf now stacked up because after redoing everything in here, I am so excited to join you guys, Jake. I mean, I'm really... So we have Megan, who's also in Sunless Citadal. She'll be playing with us. So Jake's a player, I'm a player, Megan's a player, and Dwight, right? Dwight is another player who's also playing often on the Jolt of Personality. We're testing my memory right now. So you've seen him before with Jake as well. So again, really excited. I'm going to make sure in my Facebook page, on Twitter, and in my Facebook group, I'll give the rundown of what's going to happen with that game. And then again, tomorrow night, Sunless Citadel. That's another one I'm really loving because we have DM Scotty in there. We have Jeremy from Erasmus Expeditions, right? And Megan from Dice on Ice as well. So I love playing games, and it's fun being able to play games with my friends. It's the best. And yeah, just that printer, it gets loud a couple times because it's circular, but then it has like these weird cross runs that it does. So it'll go woo. Let's see. Jeremy says, I'm hoping we run that adventure. Oh, you're doing Tomb of Annihilation? Dude, that's impressive. Yeah, basically it was one of those things we were watching the... Oh, why am I blanking? The So Many Eyes thing that was happening with D&D and Beyond. And caught that big announcement of their bringing this about, and looked at my husband, he looked at me, and we're like, yeah, we're going to be getting this book, just because the whole idea of playing in a city environment and kind of expanding it beyond just adventure mode, it's really appealing to me, and I don't know why, but I'm just like totally excited for this and can't wait to see what happens. So as you can see here, I'm just taking the sponge. This is why I like these sponges, because they get into little nooks and crannies. And they sort of act as paintbrush and highlight all at the same time. And it's nice, quick coverage with this. So I'm just going to go through and blot, blot, blot. And that Vallejo asphalt, that worked out really well once it dried. I am so pleased with how this looks underneath here. The black areas. It gives it a really deep black color, and because it has this gloss to it, it almost looks like, well, as I was hoping, it looks like the earth got singed to a black charcoal-y hard surface. So that's definitely a product I'm going to keep in my arsenal, and I definitely recommend to you guys to pick up, especially if you want to add textures and get coverage at the same time. It's sort of like taking what you would normally do with like white glue and sand, wait for that to dry, and then put your paint with usually glue or Mod Podge in it, and then paint over that. It basically takes those two different steps and puts it into one. So I'll make sure there's a link for that as well in the description after this is done. And this is where I do need to go to paintbrush, because this is getting too big. So what I'm going to do now is just take this coffee latte and I'm going to dry brush on the inner parts of the stones. Let's see here. Oh, Jason, hi. When did you jump in? So, Jason Griffin says you do great work. Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you're appreciating it and you're having fun. I really hope you guys are going to like what's coming out on Friday. I do have a crafting video go up. It is mini-based, and it's dealing with some of those lovely minis from Magic the Gathering Planeswalkers board game. That one I wanted to put to some use as well. And I'm really thrilled with how that whole project came out. And the nice thing is, what you're gonna see is a really quick job that you can do on some of those minis, specifically the ones that look like cats that are on fire. And Georgie just jumped in. Hey Georgie, how you doing? Yeah, see, this is why I like doing these lunch break live streams, because I do have followers and subs who are over in Europe, and I know for you guys, when I do my 8:30 live streams, some of you are setting alarms, which, hello, above and beyond, thank you so much for that. But I thought this would be a fun thing to start doing so that everyone kind of gets a chance to hang out together. So we're catching some people possibly coming home from work, other people having that nice little break. Oh, we have Chris in the house. Hey, Chris. Long time no speak. That's that printer. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is one of those prints where just the base is a few days in process, and then there's other parts that each take about a day. But if it comes out looking as we're hoping it's going to look, it's going to be very much worth it and very exciting to see. And I got a little bit of paint on my dragon, which, yes, you've seen me do this before. I just quickly wet down a brush to get rid of it. So elegant, I know. Let's see, what else has been going on? I did do that really fun Saturday morning sort of cartoon thing. Happened on Geeky Bugbear on Twitch, and it was cool to try out this whole Retroverse world. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like the colors, Jeremy. It's I don't know. I like to gravitate towards colors and using different colors, which you probably picked up on at this point with my videos. But yeah, the whole Retroverse thing was really cool, and honestly, a lot of it is still getting used to a few of the new classes and abilities and things like that. But it was kind of neat to go in there, and it was more like, you know, the Scooby-Doo gang trying to solve a mystery, and it was definitely a lot more roleplay heavy. So if you like seeing roleplay stuff, oops, just kicked the desk, sorry for the wobbling. So if you like seeing more roleplay stuff, then definitely get over there and check that out. Again, that's a link I'll put into the description once this is done. A lot of times I have no idea what I'm going to say at this point, so the links aren't even there yet. Let's see, how is the Muse this day? Georgie asked. The Muse is doing well. Little busy, got a few things. I've got many pokers in the fire this week is what it's turned out to be. Not bad. It's all great. I'm very excited for it. So I would be really, you know, I'd be remiss in saying that I'm bored because I am anything but bored. It's kind of turning out to be a pretty cool day with some neat things going on. Let's see here. Chris says boy has been home for a while. Oh, I'm glad the boy's home though. You guys get to hang out for a little bit. I know you guys have been missing each other. Are you, Chris, are you guys doing a game? Hopefully now that he's home? Because that would be good. Oh, Strink says that, you know, I was thinking about doing scatter style stuff for this because I am liking how this came out. So probably in the next few weeks, because I have a couple videos stacked up, in the next few weeks I do plan on showing how I made these because it was actually really easy, and with the way we always have so much scrap foam left over, it's a great way to kind of keep, you know, keep reusing stuff and not having it just go right into the garbage can. But yeah, there's a couple videos that are coming out. You have this one coming out on Friday with the Magic the Gathering stuff on it, and then I have a really cool one for next week, which I'm hoping to get the project itself done in the next couple days because it's actually a surprise for my little guy, and it's something he's been begging me to make him, oh god, for a good 4 months now, but it's one of those things where it just was not coming together as I wanted it to, and I've done a whole bunch of different permutations with this concept, and now that it's come together, I can't wait to surprise him with it as his own little, like, here you go, bud, I got it made for you. Hello, Vince. Vince just jumped in as well, and Julio, yes? First time right here. Well, thank you for joining. You haven't painted your first mini yet? That's totally okay. Mini painting, it's something where find one you're comfortable with and then just jump in. The more you get worried about it or put it off, the less likely you are to start doing it. I do have a couple other videos that are good for just getting into things if you want to check those out at some point. And there's other really great painters out there. Who does? Oh, Game Trade Media, they have Happy Little Minis. That usually happens Mondays, I want to say around 2. They're always good for watching how minis are getting painted up. I will be over there usually watching them if I can, because of all the things they start talking about and show off with the different paints and everything. Alright, so I'm liking the coverage I have right now with Coffee Latte. So that's looking pretty good. I'm actually leaving this black area as black as I can leave it. I'll probably go in and just do a little bit of pavement just to highlight some of the texture a bit, but I don't want to do too much to the black because, like I said, I want this to look like singed, seared earth more than anything else. Okay, so I've got that down. Let me move on to, I'm going to do Golden Sunset here. Let's see here. Yeah, scatter terrain's always good. I agree, Georgie. It really amps up what you have terrain-wise already, and it also multitasks your terrain. So you can have something that's simple, like just, you know, like cave terrain, well, you can turn it into mountain terrain with, you know, spiky stuff like this. And same thing for other bits you can have on there. Hello, San Diego Bass. Or is it bass? Are you all about the bass or the bass? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm just reading through the chat and seeing what else I got going on here. Chris says they went to Seattle. Alright, cool. Well, I'm glad he's home for a little bit so you guys get some time together. That's a wonderful thing. And basically what I'm doing over here is I'm just blotting some of the paint into the sponge. The other thing I don't do is I don't wash the sponge off. I like the fact that it'll help further blend the colors when you let the colors stack on top of each other. Yes, thank you, Georgie. Devious Dungeons also does other good mini painting tutorials. There really are a lot of good people out there for learning how to paint minis and everything like that. And as I said before in the last live stream last week, I am going to start making a point of just once a week kind of coming in. And this color always scares people, by the way. Don't be scared by this. This is like an undertone color that is going to get muted as the other two get put on top of it. But yeah, there's a lot of great people out there with lots of talent, and I recommend checking everyone out because it's the same thing with teachers. Someone might have a way of teaching and showing their techniques that you connect with over someone else, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, God, when I was a teacher, there was, I think, at least 16 different means of teaching your students because of different ways of learning. So it's one of those things where just kind of jump around and test out the waters and see who clicks for you. You know, I'm always happy to have you here, but if you find out someone kind of gives more of the tips you're looking for, then by all means, you know, put them to use. Watch what they do. It's a great thing. And again, a little paint on his tail, which I don't want, so that just went away. Yay! But yeah, the thing I like about this Golden Sunset is that it helps add warmer undertones and gives more depth to the stone work. And I also like it for woodwork too, because it gives that almost that glow that wood will have when it's finished. I used it in my Xanathar upgrade video, and I have had to put him into our little storage cabinet to keep him safe because one of the cats, go figure, has been eyeing him, but I think it's more eyeing the marble that is the fishbowl. So yeah, poor Xanathar. He's not here at my art desk anymore, but he was for a little bit, which I enjoyed looking at him. Alright, so yeah, I know it looks super bright, but it won't look so garishly taxi cab in a little bit. But I do like how it just starts bringing out the edges and everything too, because I want to show off those well, not slate-like, but the why am I blanking? The staggering, that's the word, staggering of the stones that I have going on here. I'm waiting for the printer to do one of its woo! Alright, this is like a little tight spot. Bear with me. You like the low end of music? Alright. Yeah, this is one of those things where the dragon had to go on first, and I think when I'm going to show how to make these stones, we won't have to worry so much about working around a dragon. So it will be a little bit easier to show these things off for you guys. Alright, yep, liking that. That's enough of the Golden Sunset. I just clean this brush off. The brush I do need to clean off. Hello, Jane. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, San Diego, thank you very much. I'm glad you like the base. That was one of those things where when I got the preview packs and we were going through them, it's one of those things where I opened up the box and I saw him looking right up at me, and I'm like, this guy I have to do something with. And literally just sitting there with him like, what am I gonna do with you? And then just it hit me. It's like, you know, do him fully on his desk with, you know, his buddy and the accessories and all that. It was just, God, that was a project I absolutely fell in love with and I was obsessed with for that whole weekend, just painting him and creating and making all those things. But I really wanted to make it reproducible for other people to do the same thing. And the funny thing is a lot of people are starting to get those. I've been seeing the many popping up in various groups on Facebook, on Twitter, and that type of thing. So hopefully people can put it to use and have some fun with it as well. I don't know, I just have fun kind of, well, obviously, amping up mini bases. Let's see, did I miss anything else here? Doing the dual view trick again? Are you doing different things, Vince? Is that what's going on? Alright, and then what am I doing? Oh, Sunkissed Peach. This is another color I really like to use. I also find it funny how, with all the paints I have, we've had the same bottle of black for the past year and a half now. That's how rarely I go and use full-on black, just because I like to build up the colors more, I think. So I tend not to go super duper dark unless I want to have deep shadows. So I will go full black when I want to bring out deeper shadows on something. Just a little thing about how I work. I am blotting every so often up on a paper towel too to kind of, because that was just, oh, here we go. That was just a little bit too intense. It was more than I wanted. And here's the cool thing with this sponge. It does like a dry brush as well as coverage. So it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. And I am going to go a little bit more heavy-handed with the Sunkissed Peach because this is closer to the stone color I want to do. Oh, thank you, Georgie. Appreciate it. Feels like a NASA control center right now. Have you in stereo and 2 screens and dice? Oh, I'm glad you like the new camera setup. This is one of those things where I have like a technical to-do list of things I want to learn for recording and everything like that, and OBS was one of them over the summertime. And hey, GW! And I knew that OBS was going to take me a little bit more time to figure out just because of how my own brain works. And Wylock was actually very kind enough to show me some basics when we got together back in June, and after using those tips and showing me what he does, I was able to like genuinely sit down with this one day and get this cranking and moving along. So when I realized that yes, I can do 2 cameras, that in itself is great, because when we do Mace in November, we have Jim Kelly. He has Game Terrain Engineering YouTube channel. He's going to be our DM for a game, and we really want to try and live stream it. I can't make any promises because a lot of it's going to depend on the hotel's internet. We'll see how it works out. But we want to try and get this streaming, this game for you guys, because it's going to be myself, Scotty, Wylock, all his players. There's an opportunity to buy 3 tickets for people, 1 ticket a seat. So there's 3 seats that are on auction right now, so people have a chance to come and sit and play with us, which will be ridiculously fun. And Jim's bringing terrain, and we really want to be able to show that off. So I wanted to test this 2-camera thing to see if my little laptop can handle it, and it can. Happy about that. So we're going to try and have a table shot and then players shot in this whole mix, and that way you guys can see what's going on more, because even though when we did Dude Where's My Cart, we didn't really have that much terrain in the first place, simply because my husband was a DM and we were driving out from our home to his parents' home, and the car space was slightly limited to bring like a whole big stack of stuff that we have. And you know, we saw the feedback where people were like, oh, I really want to be able to see more what the table looked like. It took that into account and took that into consideration, and wanted to make sure, oh, I keep kicking the table, wanted to make sure that was something we could provide for the next game where we all get to sit down and play together. So yeah, that's kind of what prompted the whole new fiddling around with cameras, and then realizing since I can do the 2 cameras, why not put it to use for these lunchtime live streams, which they definitely are going to be doing. I'm going to be doing these once a week. I just have to figure out, I think I might land on doing these on Wednesdays because it's a little bit easier for me out of all the other days. Plus I'm trying to get videos to go up every Friday, so I want to try and give a little bit of a break and a breath put together. A little bit of a break between my live streams and the videos themselves. Plus I have all these really cool minis stacked up that I need to get painted for various reasons. So yeah, it's kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Lets me sit and chat with you guys for a little bit, and lets me get some things done. I'm going back in with a Sunkissed Peach and just dry brushing the stones where I can't get the sponge in right now again. And then I'm going to go back in with the parchment once I know this is dry. So that's kind of the key thing here. It needs to dry a little bit more before I move on to parchment, because I don't want to smear everything together. Thank you, Jane. I hope it all works out as well too. It's you know, it's fun seeing where things are going with everything, and I'm having fun with it for sure because I like sharing this with you guys. I was talking with one of my old teacher friends, and I was saying it's kind of like having a classroom back, except my classroom's like this little art area in my basement, and you guys jump in. So it's fun being able to share things with you and talk about things like this. Always. Hold on, I'm concentrating. I'm getting quiet because I'm concentrating. I want to make sure I'm getting these. You remember the, what was that commercial? The English Muffins, Crooks and Nannies, right? The little kid who called it Crooks and Nannies. I said that the other day and my kids are like, what do Crooks and Nannies have to do with your minis? I'm like, it's not so much the minis, but the joke of an old commercial. It was that uncool mom making a reference from days gone by. You can see I'm kind of doing a little bit of a dry brush here. Missing the audio howl? What do you mean by the audio howl, Vince? Yeah, there's this one guy who's a little bit more wobbly than the others. I might go back and kind of give him an extra layer of Mod Podge to strengthen it up. But... oh, I'm glad you're glad, Georgie. I'm glad you share some really cool things on your end, too. My gosh. Georgie makes up these awesome posters, which if you're in my Facebook group, you've seen them before. Alright, Jason, thanks so much for stopping by. Have a good rest of your day. But yeah, Georgie's got a great eye for just making these really eye-catching posters. And he's the guy whose stuff I used for the switchable hanging signpost stuff video. Because they're just really cool and they're witty. That's the other thing, your sense of humor comes through with those, Georgie, which I love. That whole dry humor. Especially your wanted posters. The wanted posters are hysterical. Alright, good. I'm glad you get the Crooks and Nannies reference. Thanks, Georgie. There we go. I think I've got most of the points I wanted to. But yeah, once this is completed, I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go back and just do a nice layer of the same kind of Mod Podge and paint mix on the bottom here, just to sort of firm up the underside here and give this a smoother surface because it's a little textured. And I want to sort of smooth that out as best I can. Oh, nope, missed a spot. Okay, let me get this guy over here. I can show it. Oh, okay. Yeah, like the very first live stream that I ever did. Now, oh my god, that was a riot. Yep, that was hysterical when the audio just flared like crazy. Now I know what you're talking about, Vince. Yeah, if you want a good laugh, go back to the first live stream ever and you can hear major feedback happening in the very beginning. That was a fun one to do though, because we got to show off some of the stuff we had going, which I liked, and I think that's what got me started with making sure I want to try and keep up on live streams. Honestly, the only thing that impedes live streams at this moment is when the kids are home from school. So the summertime sort of is going to probably by nature be more of a hiatus thing unless I can get them into like doing a summer camp a little bit more regularly. Andy's asking me, have I ever tried my hand at sculpting minis? Yes. I think it's unlisted, but there is a Nightwalker that I sculpted up, and he came out looking pretty cool. And it's one of those things where we couldn't find a Nightwalker that fit sort of what my husband wanted to have. So, Wave's doing the Brit. So it was, I had fun kind of looking at the Nightwalker, which, by the way, when you go into Google and you search, I'm going to let this dry so we can chat. When you search Nightwalker, yes, you do in the images get the D&D Nightwalker, You also get some other night walkers who are very, come up and see me sometime. That was pretty funny. But after looking at the few pictures we could find of the night walkers, I went about and I made him up, and I named him Keith. I always name my minis weird things, like this guy's Tesla. We decided his name was Tesla last week. So what happened was because this particular mini needed a few good coats of very dark black, because in this case, if you know what Nightwalker looks like, they have very dark skin, like blackish, bluish, purple colors. So I think it was like 3 layers of black that were needed to just get the finish that I wanted after using, because I used the Sculpey bake kind. So just to get the skin to look how I wanted to as a base layer. And of course, as I'm painting, it was yeah, the whole paint it black got it stuck in my head. So I'm like, okay, well, this guy now has to be Keith. And I was also reading Keith Richards' autobiography, which if you haven't read that yet, it's a really good book. It's probably one of my like top 20 biography books that I've read. So yeah, I have done sculpting minis, and V's an international star. Oh God, you guys are too funny. Well, I just have fun hanging out with you guys. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Okay, I think this should be dry enough. So what I'm going to do now is move on to pavement. Actually, no, what I need to do is... Hold on, I gotta... Of course my hot glue gun got buried behind some things. But, let me get my hot glue gun out and started. I am not an international star. I am just me. Just me. Very simple. This is what I like though about this new studio. Before, when I had to plug in my hot glue gun, it was walk out of the desk and around and go to the plug. Now all I have to do is like turn to the side, and so that's been very cool. Hello, Dice Guy. Thank you for joining us. And how are you on this? Well, for me, it's a cold, well, not cold actually, no, it got warmer, but it's a miserable, misty, rainy day. Let's see here. Andy M says, awesome. Glad my typing is slower than your speaking. You were about to Google it. Well, you could. Have fun. Just don't share. Yeah, that was one of those search histories where I was just like, you might want to clear my browsing history for this one, because that was a total unintentional whoops. It was funny though. It was actually very funny. Now I am going to drop doing the sponge, because it's not that I want to have a whole bunch of this everywhere. This is going to act as my highlighting color. And I'm debating if I'm going to do a wash and then maybe another dry brush. I'll see. I want to see how this comes out first with everything. Let me get that out of the way. Okay. How's the sound doing for you guys? Music's not getting too loud, I hope? Seriously, if anything just goes wonky with sound, let me know, because I have to take my headphones off. If I keep them on, I get the music louder, and I can't think and speak and listen, because what I'll be doing is I'll be listening and I'll start dancing. Which, we're not doing that. That's not happening. Okay, let me see here. Parchment, I don't know. I also have a very bad habit of I will paint on my hand, because I find this portion of my hand reflects how it's going to go onto the mini or the foam a little bit better. Yeah, that's what I want. So it helps me with deciding if that's the kind of coverage I want. I don't want to be too heavy-handed with this. I do want to get the crags and the nooks and the crannies showing. But I don't want to... We're not making white marble, let's put it that way. Kind of treating this more as like a sandstone type of sandstone, kind of quarry quartz-ish type of look, because I am going to go back in and there are metallic flecks that happen in this stone that I found. So I'm going to put the metallic flecks in after I do this, there we go, the dry brushing with parchment. But you can see, hopefully, it just starts bringing out the textures of everything. So you're getting lousy weather. You're getting lousy weather on your side. Baba Wawas just came to call. Yeah, I think it's this tropical storm. It's just screwing with everyone's weather right now, because I have a few other friends over in England who have been complaining about the weather. Which, I don't know. We are kind of getting into that whole autumnal mode of life. So cold and rainy days are certainly not unheard of. Oh, I just picked up way too much. Yeah, but that's one of my secret techniques. Paint your hand. It's great. Now the fun thing is, going back to Mace, is that I am going to be doing a couple of mini painting classes, and Cripple God Foundry is actually going to be sending me some minis. So I'm going to be doing a base, because they have some really incredible looking bases. So I'm going to be showing people how to paint a base. And then there's going to be a smaller class of painting their dwarf, which I don't know if you guys have seen that yet, but get on to cripplegodfoundry.com, I believe is their website, and check out their minis that they're starting to crank out, because this dwarf, he's got this really dynamic look to him, which I love. He has a hammer in one hand, and he's got his mouth open, almost like this growl type roar expression. Really, really cool looking. So he's going to be the one that we're going to be painting at Mace, or whoever wants to join the class. That class is capped at 16 people though, simply due to size of the room. And the base mini painting class, that one we're capping at 24, because you won't need as much elbow room and paints for that one, is kind of what it boils down to. Let's see, our dice guy says, oh, you're in Norway. Hot autumn winds and drizzles of rain. It kind of sounds like what I'm having right now. Did a live thing. Oh, you did it without sound? Yeah, that's always fun. Little tip for you is, if you can take your recording equipment and just do a quick little test run to check everything, that usually helps with the sound issues ahead of time. I'm doing well, but thank you for asking. I got some fun, exciting news this morning, which I'm really super thrilled about. For those of you just coming in, I've been invited to do a Waterdeep Dragon Heist long-term campaign that's going to be happening every Monday starting October 1st on Mini Terrain Domain, both YouTube and Twitch. And it's with some really cool people. Bases and faces. Yeah. I don't know, I kind of like it more when, just interaction-wise, I like it when I can see the person speaking. I'm also extremely expressive, so, you know, with my streak of sarcasm, it kind of helps to see what my face is doing, so you know if I'm being serious or not. But yeah, it was definitely one of my goals when I do these mini painting things. I just want to be sure that people can see me and see them. Which, you know, for the second go around, I'm pretty happy so far. Because of the new setup, I am going to play around a little bit more with the lighting. My ring light, which I did get, and it was great when it worked for the first 2 times. Pardon me. Third time around, it decided to just not work anymore, and that sucker was putting out just the right kind of light. So I'm hoping, I got news it should be here by the 14th, so of course 2 days after this. But I'm hoping this light, what I can do is get it set up with the camera, and that way the camera's got light shooting to help at the right angle. But yeah, I'm still playing around with the lighting. So for those of you, you know, kind of noticing that, it's already on my list of to-dos and to get worked on. And then there's the other fun dynamic of my being so freaking pale. It's always fun trying to get the right balance going without basically, well, I mean, you can see right here, I flare a camera out without even trying. Without a sound, it must have been Vince. Oh god. I will say though, if you don't want to do chitter chatter mode like I'm doing, if you can figure out how to pipe music through, you can paint. You can have it where you're painting and people can listen to the music as well, and then they can kind of jump back and forth and see how you're doing. And my computer just said low battery, so let me get this plugged in. Come here, you. See this whole new workspace? It's fantastic. I don't have to go jumping down off the seat from my cord anymore. I can just pull it up and in it goes. Alright, we're plugged in. Much better. Alright, now you shouldn't lose me mid-sentence. Theoretically. Nothing's ever guaranteed with live streams and YouTube. Anything could happen, anything will happen. And so for those of you just starting out with doing live streams and things like that, don't get frustrated. We have literally all been there with technical glitches and difficulties. Oh, thank you very much, Dice Guy. I appreciate the link. Yeah, so this is starting to... Hold on. There we go. Focus. There we go. So it's starting to get that look that I want in terms of keeping it lighter stone. I don't know, I just kind of like playing around where so much stuff ends up kind of being gray-ish. So if I can make something that has, I put in, there's a cat behind me, has less of everything's gray look, and it just kind of helps it pop more on the table, I like doing that. For sure. Oh, I know, I need to, like, why is my screen so dull? I need to amp the brightness up on my own. There we go. Sometimes there are days where I swear that 3D printer is trying to tell me something. Now this I'm taking more of my time with bringing out the details because I don't want to be too crazy about it, but I do want to make sure I'm bringing out the cragginess and the sharpness of some of these angles to really kind of get it more looking like how I have envisioned and what I was seeing. Because basically I was going and looking at real-life reference photos of mountaintops and shale to sort of work with shapes and everything. You did a month of a live stream? Like not continuously, like you did a month just doing live streams, right? Alright, Georgie, thanks for stopping by. Have fun with the kiddos. Yeah, I'm going to take pictures of this guy when he's fully done so everyone can see. We're actually getting close to having it where I want to be, so that's a good thing. We're getting there. Hold on, I'm thinking. There we go. Yeah, that's what I needed. I think I'm back around again. Am I? Yep. Oh, you know what? Let me get this little edge here. And again, for those of you just coming in, I'm leaving this center part black on purpose. It's not that I've forgotten about it. I'm kind of doing this whole charred earth underneath the dragon. Because yes, I also looked at what happens to the ground when lightning strikes. Alright, yeah, go ahead. I'm fine with lurking. If you have to go do other things and you're kind of just jumping in and out, totally get it. Trust me, that's life for me at times too. I just appreciate your stopping in and saying hello. Let's see here. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me flip that off. I'm happy with how this is looking. Because you're getting those grooves and stuff that were left by the knife marks and everything. If I can get my autofocus to behave. Hi, babykins! I have a little friend right next to me. Hi, yes, you're precious and adorable. You want to say hi to the people? Alright, yeah, let me let this dry a little bit and then Hemingway's saying hi. Here's one monster. I have a little table set up so he can perch. Because what he's been doing is he will jump up onto the art desk now, and yeah, doesn't care if there's anything in the way. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry, and I'm gonna start putting my paints away, and this is why I love this, because I have all my paints right here, my acrylic paints, I should say, not all of my other paints, but this helps me keep my desk a little bit more organized, because I can just go back in and put things back where they belong. Balancing job, kids, girlfriends, etc. Yeah, that sounds like a full plate there, Dice Guy. God, 2 hours a day. My voice is usually going after about an hour, which is also why I like doing hangouts, but those I tend to do more in the evenings, and I've actually switched it where I'm no longer recording hangouts. It's more just so that everyone in my group can kind of have a chance to hang out together. We seem to be getting better turnouts for that, and I want to respect the fact that not everyone wants to show up and have themselves recorded. So, yeah, that's why if you've been wondering where the hangouts have gone, it's not that I'm not doing them anymore. I do try and do at least one a month, but a lot of it was when they were being recorded, not as many people were showing up, and I just want to make it more inviting for people just to come and hang and chill. Let's see here. Miss anything here? Nope. Nope, we're looking good. Okay, so I'm going to go and use... That's a very good question. Which of my silvers do I want to use? I'm going to go for... Where's my stone? Yeah, I think the sterling silver is going to be good. So I'm going to jump over for the, oh, of course, because it's the metallic label. This is the sterling silver metallic, if you couldn't tell, from Folk Art. And that's going to help me get my little flecks in here. Flecks. That's what it sounds like to me. Alright. Don't laugh, but there are sometimes I just don't even bother pouring it out because I don't need that much. I do, however, want to wash my brush. When you're shifting from a matte acrylic and moving into a metallic, always wash your brush. Otherwise, you're going to literally muddy the color because the acrylic matte will dull the silver or the metallic, whatever it is you're going to use. So just be careful about that one. Might do a hobby shop tour. Yeah, I'm going to try and get this done, and then if you guys have an extra 15 minutes or so, not even 15 minutes because I'm just going to take the camera and whoop-de-doo walk it around. I am saving for a GoPro because with all the conventions I'm going to start going to now, I thought it'd be fun to have a means of recording while I'm doing something. Now, it may not be full live stream mode where it's like actually happening recording type of mode, but it's one of those things I am hoping I can then jump back on to the internet later on that evening at my hotel room and load things up for people so they're kind of getting highlights of my days at the conventions. So yeah, that's like I said, I've got this list of technology things I want to do, and the GoPro is definitely one of them. Now really what I'm doing is I'm doing this more for, you know, this is paler than I want it to be. I'm going to jump up to the gunmetal. This is not doing what I want it to do. I just want to have it where it's something where I can bring it with me and it's easy for filming and everything like that. House sitting, taking care of your friend's cat. Aww. Yeah, friendly cats are always good. I agree. I used to help out with an animal rescue, and there were always some of those cats where you wanted to try and help them out as best you could, but some cats do kind of fall into the stereotype of being cranky monsters. I will say, however, that's probably only 5% of the cats that I ever interacted with when I was at the rescue. Most cats are very sweet and friendly, and they just want some love, and especially the rescue guys. I mean, God, look at our two, we call them cat dogs. They do tricks and everything. And turn on your stove, which is natural gas. That was a little scary, so I had to get child-proof locks for our stove, which I found hysterical because two boys, for the past almost 11 years, we didn't have to worry about anything. And suddenly, because one of the cats is like, oh wait, food kind of comes out of this area, and it has something to do with these knobs. Let me turn these knobs and see what happens. It was just like, okay, yeah, let's not make the house explode. So we now have child-proof locks on our stovetop because of our cats. They are Maine Coons, so they're kind of a special little breed. But I just love them to bits. They are easily some of the best cats I've ever had the joy of having in my family, and they're so good with the kids. V, what do you use? What did you use? Oh, what did I used to teach? What did you used to teach? What did I use? I used to teach high school level English to sophomores and seniors. It was World Lit and American Lit. Joke's on me though, because my major focus was mostly Brit Lit. But no, I loved it. I loved teaching high school kids. It was great. I always laugh when I'll tell people face to face because you almost get the expression like, ooh, when, I don't know, I loved that age, something fiercely, and I'm still in contact with a lot of my kids, and it's just cool seeing them growing up into very cool adults and doing their thing, and yeah, so maybe eventually I'll go back to it, but where do you go? Oh, that's a good question. I actually did start up a Ko-Fi, or Ko-Fi, that's still under debate. I did start up an account with that, and it's just the crafting news. The nice thing about that is that it's a one-time deal. It's not like Patreon, and I am on Patreon. Patreon, you do get subscriptions starting at $1, and I have different levels, and that's a monthly commitment. But if you want to just do a one-time deal, ko-fi.com/the crafting news, I believe, is the hyperlink set up for that. So if you want to use that, Vince, trust me, I will very much appreciate it, and thank you so much. Because as fun as YouTube is, you don't pay the bills. That is for sure. Okay, so he has just these little touches of silver. Come on, play nice. There we go. Just these little bits. If I keep moving this around, the autofocus is going to jump it out. But it's just enough to get that little shimmer that the stone that I'm using as reference has as well. So I'm actually pretty happy with how that all came out. I don't think I am going to do a wash on this. I'll probably, if anything, just do a nice little seal coat, clear seal coat on it to keep it safe. Yes, British literature, especially Victorian Gothic. That was my... Ooh, that was my baby. I loved that genre. Oh my gosh, like Dracula and Frankenstein and all that stuff. Woman in White. What else was there? Oh, there's so many. Jekyll and Hyde, all of those guys. Have any of my students seen my videos? That's actually a really good question, Jane. I think so. I know one gentleman, young man, who's become a very talented photographer. He will jump in every so often and make comments on my Instagram account. So I think he's watching those. As for the others, they may be, for all I know. And if they are, that's fantastic. I really did enjoy being in the classroom with them. So I'm hoping they're enjoying seeing me kind of going back to, you know, teacher mode. But I'm sure I'm a little bit different here than I was in the classroom. Because pretty sure some of the things I say here definitely wouldn't be flying in the classroom. Yeah, Maine Coons are absolutely awesome, Andy. We actually lucked out because we did not know that these boys were Maine Coons. They actually came to us as a litter of 5. And for those of you who don't know, mama cats can actually have multiple daddies at the same time for the babies. So you can tell there were 2 fathers involved with this litter because one set of the litter, 3 of them, were all gray tabbies or gray with long fur, and the other 2 were just classic tabbies of that black and tan combination. And the one sister is polydactyl, and our one boy Hemingway is a polydactyl. We're like, oh, these guys are just so darn sweet and cute, and thought nothing of it. And then we noticed that our 2 boys who we have now, I'm going to start gluing in these guys, our 2 boys that we have now, hit something of a crazy growth spurt where they like blew up is the best way to describe it. And so they kept going and growing and growing, and now they actually, when they stretch up, they hit my hip like no problem. So they're over 2 feet in stretch length, and that's just hind foot to nose. I'm not including a tail on that one, but even though we didn't know they were Maine Coons, we definitely lucked out because they're just such a loving pair. And I love the fact that they're brothers because they have that whole sibling relationship, which is just, whoops, falling glue gun, which is just too freaking cute too. I mean, they just, you know, they'll curl up and cuddle with each other and just sweet as can be. I think I wanted this to go here. Yep, that's where I wanted that one to go. So right now I am hot gluing the hot glue flares onto the base. And I know I pulled that out of frame, but I kind of want to see what I'm doing and not burn my fingers. You can kind of see how this is going in here now. I'm going to do one last one over tucked in here. Oh, you missed the... You know what I'll do, Vince? I'll put my my links to Patreon and Ko-fi into the description of this video as I'm fighting a lovely hot glue strand. So yes, but again, thank you. I don't think I can thank you guys enough when you are so generous and helpful with this stuff. Okay, so we have, he's got his flares, he's got his stones, he's got himself a base. Yay! Yeah, the last thing I'm going to do, not here because I got to clear off some of this glue first, I am going to do a layer of the Mod Podge acrylic. Probably I'm just going to do straight up black underneath just to kind of unify it a little bit. And that will help call this guy done. Then what I do to seal my minis, I've come across, it's Krylon Max Crystal Clear. Really like this particular spray because what I'm finding is that with metallics, it doesn't dull metallics or mute them down, but it gives everything a nice even coat and it does do a really good job of protecting things. If anything, I'll probably have to do just a clear layer of Mod Podge on the insulation style foam, and then I can do the final spray coating. So there's a couple little steps left, but these are steps that they're just going to be, you know, not exactly interesting to watch, literally more like watching paint dry. So we don't need to do that. And then right now I'm just clearing off those little excess bits of glue strands. And Tesla's standing pretty. So I will definitely take pictures of him so you guys get some better close-ups. I'm debating if I'm going to go back and do any highlighting on the inside. The base looks basey. I'm all about that base. But yeah, so this is, there we go. My camera does the opposite, so that's why if I zig right and I'm zagging the wrong way. I am going to try and do some scatter pieces showing this technique off, so it's a more abbreviated tutorial for those who want to learn how to do this. So, alright, so that's Tesla. He's pretty much, for all intents and purposes, done. Now, if you want, I can show you a really quick loop-de-loop of my art space. Now, there is a new backdrop because my other one is still up that you'll normally see me with the tutorials that I do because I film from a different perspective. But when I do my live streams, I still want to have my nice little nebula stuff. So this is new. I got a new pretty backdrop. Actually, let me, hold on. Gotta level the camera up. So as you can see, basically what started was this whole using pegboard because I saw how nice and easy it was to get things set up so that I could organize everything. These paint holders are actually from Michaels, and miniature helmets? I'd have to think about that one. Let me think about that, Jane. I'm brewing something. I'll get back to you on that. But these are paint specifically for acrylic paint racks that you can get at Michaels, and they hang up from these 3 prongs, and they actually do come with their own big hooks. The concept is you should be able to hang this up on doors. However, since we have the pegboard, we just use pegboard hooks and it works out perfectly. So we have my paints now all hung up to my right hand side, and I have 2 of these things, which are great. And this is all left over from when I used to do retail. I lined up the colors all retail friendly. So I have these right there ready to go. And then I'm going to spin the camera around here so hoping the light doesn't flare out too much. And then we have, see, hi everyone. You can get the Inception thing going here. But then we also have pegboard in front of me, and this is where I can hang all of my minis up, which is fantastic because for me, we have so many minis. I kind of forget which ones we have. So this has made it so I can take a look and see what we have. I think it was Georgie who said it's like you have your own little store now, which, you know, isn't a lie. And then higher up, I just have some shelving, which I created either from baskets, from insulation, or double corrugated cardboard. I did a couple layers of that. So that's the immediate work desk area, and the desk itself, I mean, it's got some pretty good space to it. And I have my 2 monitors going. For this type of live stream, I don't bother getting the 2 monitors going. When we do Google Hangouts, I do need that second monitor just because I can have people on that monitor and the chat stuff over here. So we have that going. And then I'm going to do the man behind the curtain. There's actually more to this because I have this. There's more behind here. You don't let me pull it this way. I do that. So this now tucks all nicely to the side, and I can get out of the way when I'm not using it, which I love. And then, come here, my little camera. And then here I have more space, so I can hang paper towels, like right behind me is awesome. And then we have all of my pliers, my scissors, my X-Acto knives, glue stick. Oh my god, having the glue sticks right there is so cool. It's just, wink, need another one. And then there are some more shelves, which it's kind of dark, it's hard to see from that point. But there are other shelves right here that have my washes and my other paints and just some more storage bits that happen behind there. So it was one of those things where it needed to happen simply because I was literally running out of space, but I'm super thrilled with how it all worked out and how it came together. So yeah, florist wire, tape, and yes, that's some of my favorite stuff that I love using. Let's see here. Anything else? Oh, Groot. Yeah, everyone loves Groot, and Groot actually dances, but his batteries have died out. Otherwise, I've had him put on a performance for you because it's quite sweet. He keeps me company. let's see, take a small bead and carve. I would not, if anything, what you might be able to do, someone did mention green stuff. Green stuff would be helpful. If you can try and get like cheap toy minis of knights and stuff, you can actually cut a head off and sort of get a helmet that way. Too many minis is a relative statement. Absolutely. I had too many minis piling up. How's that? Because we did take part in the whole Reaper Bones Kickstarter, and that's going to be a fun box to get, let's put it that way. So it's not that we're going to ever be lacking minis, I don't think, and we have the 3D printer cranking them out too. Just looking to see in the chat here if I missed anything else. Sundry and other stuff got last, I blame you. You can blame me for whatever supplies I tell you to get, because those are supplies that are going to be helpful. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for today. Once I get him all sealed up and everything, like I said, I'll take some pictures so you can get some good close-ups of him. And the spiky stone rock effects, I will be doing a tutorial on that one. So keep an eye out for that, probably 3 to 4 weeks out. I do have a few other things planned ahead of time, so we'll see how that goes. And then next Wednesday, I will be painting another mini here. Ooh, I can preview what I want to paint for you guys. I am going to paint this beauty. I've already got him with a black wash on, which I like to do when something has feathers, just because it helps me see the details a heck of a lot better. So I'm going to be painting the griffin next week, and he's probably going to take a couple of weeks to paint up just because of all these lovely, lovely details. I have a thing about wings. Wings and capes. I love painting on minis. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much to everyone who stopped by. This will be up and ready for viewing, and like I said, I'm gonna, as I'm watching, I'm putting cards and things for relevant links to other videos that I mentioned, and I'll put links in the description as well. The playlist, if anyone wants to know what the songs are, I'll have a list of the playlist for you, but that's pretty much it for me. I have to go create a new character. Let's do this. I have a group where it's 2 rogues and a bard, and I'm trying to decide what I want to be. I don't know. I gotta think about that one. Both race and class, I'm still kind of like, I don't know, I gotta think. But that's where I'm gonna be this afternoon, is coming up with this new character, which hopefully will be one people can enjoy and have fun with. And tomorrow night you can see me play Cantriel over on the Mini Terrain Domain channel at 8:30, both on YouTube and Twitch, where I am going to be playing painting with Scotty. That would actually be fun. Playing with Scotty, Jake, Jeremy, and Megan. So please come over and stop in, say hi. We have the chats all going. We're super interactive. Jane, thank you so much for the company. I love being able to do this for you guys, and so I will see you next Wednesday, same time, same place, different mini. How's that sound? Good? Alright everyone, I'm going to switch over to the end screen, and I'll chat with you guys later, and hopefully I can see you on the Facebook group or over on my Facebook page or wherever else I am kind of floating around on social media. Take care, have a great week, and new video up on Friday. So that's it from me. Bye everyone.